motive with all this praise. But Stephen A., who are you picking to win this game? Is it the Patriots or is it the Seahawks?
Well, I'm picking the Seahawks, and I'm picking the Seahawks because I think that they have a more complete team right now. I think that the Patriots are trying to feel their way through things. A performance against the Miami Dolphins does not an exceptional season of football make. The reality of the situation is that as far as I'm concerned, I won't go as far as insulting Miami by saying it was a bye week because I respect the hell out of Brian Flores and what they're doing and what they're trying to build down there. But this is not an elite team as of yet. We understand that. We understand that Ryan Fitzpatrick was quarterback in the team. So what Cam Newton and the New England Patriots were able to do, keep in mind they won 21-11, but they were struggling with the pass and they were just running the football effectively. I think that's going to be considerably harder to do. I think that Seattle's defense was rough and rugged and good enough to begin with, but then adding Jamal Adams to that mix, who played lights out last week, we can't ignore what we're seeing from them in terms of their energy and their fervor defensively. And offensively, Russell Wilson completing 31 of 35 passes for over about 322 yards, having DK Metcalf, having Tyler Lockett, having a running game with Carson and those boys. I just see them being too complete for New England, and I think that as a result, they'll wear them down. It won't be a blowout or anything like that, but I think ultimately Seattle will close the deal. They're the better team, and I think they will win this Sunday.
This is where I think, the way you said, you just have a gut about the Texans upsetting the Ravens, which has to be a gut pick because on paper that doesn't look good. I know they're in Seattle, and I agree with everything Belichick said about Russell Wilson. I think he's going down as one of the upper echelon all-time greats when all is said and done. And I understand why even Belichick looks at him and says that, because like Tom Brady, I know one guy's tall, one guy's short, one guy is purely in the pocket, the other guy can run. But they're similar in the sense that they started playing for great coaches as game managers who were big on third down, relying on their defense, the field goal kicker, the run game, stuff like that. But both evolved into offensive juggernauts who could carry the team. And then they changed the team around the evolution of the quarterback. So when he looks at Russell Wilson in certain ways, in those important respects, I'm sure he's familiar with it with his experience with Tom Brady. That said, on paper, Seattle has the edge, particularly because they're at home. But if you just forgot about who's playing quarterback for the Patriots for a second, if this was a matchup last year, would people be so quick to take Seattle? You would think, well, it's the Patriots. The Patriots usually usually win a dozen games a year. That's a close call. Belichick might figure it out. Just because it's Cam Newton instead of Tom Brady, I think people are discounting the Patriots a little. And in fact, I think they should give them a little increase in their chances, not a decrease, because Cam Newton doesn't need the same weapons that Brady needs because he's big and strong and mobile. And we heard Bill Belichick talk about the level of competitiveness. Yes, he's getting used to a new system, but so far, looks like the same old Patriots to me. I like them in an upset.
I can't say that I like the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks because I believe this is Russell Wilson's year. When you watch that game against the Atlanta Falcons, he was absolutely surgical, and he understands I run the football when I need to pick up extra yards, and I get my teammates involved when they are open, when I have those opportunities. That's why you see such a low incompletion percentage. And also with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on the outside, he does actually have weapons now. And Chris Carson is a downhill running back that is subbed by Carlos Hyde. And so to me, the Seattle Seahawks are the better team offensively by a long shot. And then let's talk defense. Defense, we looked at the New England Patriots from last year with one of the top defenses in the league and the defensive player of the year. And we said, you know what? Coming into most games or every game, they'll be better on that side of the ball. Well, the best defensive player in this game is going to be the Seattle Seahawks strong safety Jamal Adams. The type of energy that he could bring to this game, the type of jump start he gave that team last week against the Falcons. And this is a defense with Bobby Wagner on it. And I say all that because I believe the Seattle Seahawks are better. But I can't sit here and say that the New England Patriots can't win. And I think it's for a lot of the things that Max said, because if Tom Brady was there, we'd give him a puncher's chance. If Tom Brady was there, we'd say that New England always finds a way. Why can't we give Cam Newton that same credit? Why can't we look at the first week and say, okay, they're going to take the air out of the ball by running it. They're going to play tough defense. And can Cam Newton find a way to make enough plays in the end to win? So where I do think the Seattle Seahawks are the favorite, where I do think the Seattle Seahawks are the better team, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you can't rest. No 12th man in the stands. no opportunity to drown out the way Cam communicates or the way Josh McDaniels communicates to him. I think this is going to be a great game. And this is going to be Cam Newton's opportunity to say that Russell Wilson may be fighting for the MVP this year, but I have already won one. I cannot wait to watch this game. This will let us know if the New England Patriots are for real, if they can move on from Tom Brady and still be that team that sits atop the AFC, because the Seattle Seahawks got now, but they have to face the New England Patriots, who've had the last 2 decades.
Well, I agree with everything you said until that last part.
Go ahead, Steve.
About us finding out about the. I agree with you until the last part about finding out, because I think that one of the things we have to pay attention to is the fact that there's been no preseason because of the pandemic and what have you. And whatever you see earlier, for the most part, is not indicative of what you'll see as the season progresses. If this was week 8 or 9 or beyond for the season and they met up, I would view this as something that would be a telltale for what the New England Patriots are, what they're going to be, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, the brilliance of Bill Belichick could conceivably give you an advantage because of the lack of preparation that everybody has been able to have at their disposal coming into this particular season. We never know what other things could affect it. I don't think that one way or the other it'd be indicative. I just think looking at both teams right now, I just think Seattle's the better team.
Look, this is not a knock on Russell Wilson at all. In fact, when Cam Newton was voted by his peers the best player in the world and he won the MVP and he made it to the Super Bowl, you look at the second half of that season, Russell Wilson was probably the best player in football. So what Bill Belichick says about him is on the money. He's been underrated for too long. He's an all-time great. And there's no Metcalf or Lockett or guys like that on the Patriots. And they're at home. All that is true. And yet, what are the Patriots now? They're 1-0. How is their defense? It was excellent. No, Cam has not had time to really acclimate himself to Belichick the way maybe you'd like before a matchup like this. But in many respects, to me, in week 1, it seemed like the same old Patriots. And that team, particularly if they're underestimated, I'm taking Seattle to get out of the NFC when they made that Jamal Adams trade. And there's a natural inclination to let down a little bit. I think the Patriots are going to upset them and be 2-0 after 2 weeks.
All right, well, we've got predictions all over the board for this one. Just looking at a little comparison between the two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson is 5-2 over the course of his career when he goes head-to-head against Cam Newton. But they were close games. All but one of those games was decided by 7 points or fewer, so hopefully we'll have a good one on Sunday. Ryan, thank you so much for your time. Hope you have an amazing weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, you are. Oh, he's coming back now. Oh, maybe. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of things in my ear right now. Ryan, we might see you again. We might not. Either way, thank you for this segment. Okay, we have still some more NFL to discuss. After the break, Stephen A. and Max are going to debate